Peace, family. Guilt is worse than jail. All right. So today we are reading from the Daily Stoic. All right. It says, guilt is worse than jail. The greatest portion of peace of mind is doing nothing wrong. Those who lack self-control live disoriented and disturbed lives. That's from Seneca. It goes on to say, consider the fugitives who willingly turn themselves in after years on the run. Why would they do that? They were free, one step ahead of the law, but they gave up. Because the guilt and the stress of the fugitive life eventually gets worse than the prospect of lost freedom. In fact, it was its own kind of prison. It's the same reason why, as a child, you might have confessed to a lie to completely unsuspecting parents. It's the reason why one partner might voluntarily admit to a crushing infidelity, even though the other partner had no idea. Why are you telling me this? The betrayed shouts as she walks out the door. Because things have been going so well and I couldn't take it anymore. There are immense costs of doing wrong, not only to society, but to the perpetrator. Look at the lives of most people who reject ethics and discipline, and the chaos and misery that so often follows. This punishment is almost always as bad or worse than whatever society metes out. This is why so many petty criminals confess or voluntarily surrender. They don't always stick to it, but at the lowest moment, they finally realize this is no way to live. They want the peace of mind that comes with doing right, and so do you. So, man, this is something that, for those not familiar, the Daily Stoic is a really great book. It has a short passage, speaking to some topic of stoicism, every day of the year. Man, our conscious, man, I think it's so important to have a clean conscience, right? Because if you have something on your heart, right, and that's something on your heart, something that you feel incongruent with, it's gonna lead into other areas of your life. Like, it's gonna be really hard to continue to make progress, achieve success in different things, because you have this inner incongruence. And guilt, man, it's a low vibrational emotion, right? When you look at the chart of frequency of emotions, guilt is at the very lowest, right? And it's an emotion that you want to stay far from. Okay, so I'm actually pulling it up right now really quickly, but when I'm looking at the image here, right, with enlightenment being at the top, peace, love, reason, all of these different things being at the top, guilt is at the second to last, right? Guilt is right above shame. So guilt is one of the lowest frequencies that you can possibly be on. Okay. And the thing with guilt, regret, these things they're signals, right? And a lot of people don't realize that these emotions are signals that are telling us that we need to change. Okay? Guilt, regret, shame, these are emotions that are signals to us that we need to change our behavior. We need to change our habits. We need to change something, because this action, this behavior, this habit, whatever it is that is causing this guilt and this shame and these negative emotions, is putting you on a lower vibration. And when you're on a low vibration, it becomes, you can't manifest what it is that you want into your life, because you're in a state of incongruency. And congruency is a prerequisite of successful manifestation. You must be congruent. Okay? So it's very, very important to do the right thing. I wish I had the quote, but, Marcus Aurelius says something along the lines, if, do the right thing and say the right thing. I forgot the exact quote, but, it's very, very important to Be intentional. Be a person of character. Be a person of integrity, because you sleep well at night, right? It says, quote by Marcus Aurelius, just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter, right? So in life, like, as long as you do the right thing, man, you know, it's a compounding effect. But most importantly, you know, your spirit, your soul feels free, right? Living with a clean conscience, you know, living without that guilt, living without fear, shame, living without these negative emotions, okay? And the thing is like, you can't hide from it, right? A lot of times people are different in private than they are in public. And they think that they can hide from the private version of themselves, the version of themselves that people don't see. But you can't, because there's nothing that you can hide from the all-seeing eye, right? And the universe and God in general. And ultimately, your actions, your behaviors, even when they're done in private, even when they're done from where nobody can see them, you can see them, your subconscious can see them. So it still gets recorded in your subconscious mind, right? And whatever behavior and action that you engage in, it becomes a vote of an identity. You're casting a vote for a specific identity. And even though you may be doing it in private and you think that it won't affect you, you're still casting these votes to an identity that you may not even want to be aligned or congruent with. Okay? So, man, this was a great, passage from the Daily Stoic here, right? And just a reminder that, one of the greatest assets that we can ever have is peace of mind and a clear conscience, because that allows us to think better, and our thoughts are the foundation for creation. So when you have a clear conscience and you can think clearly and think in alignment and congruently, then it very much becomes a lot easier to manifest. And not just manifest, like, forget that. Like, you're just in a better state of joy. You're in a better state of gratitude. You're in a better state of love and happiness. Like, you just enjoy life better because you don't have anything that's weighing on your mind. Because guilt, shame, regret, these things become taxes. It becomes a tax on the mind. It becomes a tax that you continuously have to pay. Because if you can't focus your intention, if you can't focus your intention and attention on what it is that it needs to be focused on, and you have this thing that's weighing on your mind that is taxing you, it just makes life more difficult. It just makes life more challenging. Okay? So let's be people of character. Let's be people of integrity, and always remember to do the right thing, or there's a very, very heavy cost that needs to be paid, right? When we aren't. Okay? So peace of mind, clear conscience is a lot of times worth more than whatever it is that you may be engaging in that is going to cost you that peace of mind and that clear conscience, right? So let's value that as people. Let's value doing the right thing. And not only for the benefit of ourselves and having that peace of mind and the clear conscience, but for the benefit of others, for the benefit of our relationships, for the benefit of, just being a human being. I feel like doing the right thing is, in a sense, it's just being a humanitarian in the sense, right? But yeah, this was just something that, I read this morning. I said, why not? Right? Let's do a little bit of a different video today from the Daily Stoic. All right? So, hope you got value from this. Much love for everybody that tapped in. Peace, love, and abundance always. Until the next video. See ya.